What if I told you that one of the most heavily armored animals to ever walk the earth wasn't a tank built for war, but a survivor built for a brutal world? Meet Ankylosaurus, the dinosaur that looked like a living fortress. For decades, scientists have portrayed Ankylosaurus as the ultimate armored dinosaur. Its body was covered with thick, bony plates, sharp spikes, and protective armor unlike anything seen in most animals today. But recent discoveries are revealing that the truth about Ankylosaurus may be even more surprising than anyone imagined. Ankylosaurus lived during the late Cretaceous period around 68 to 66 million years ago, just before the mass extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs. It roamed what is now Western North America, sharing its world with some of the most famous dinosaurs ever discovered. And yes, that included Tyrannosaurus rex. Imagine a giant predator weighing several tons, armed with bone-crushing jaws and serrated teeth. Most dinosaurs stood little chance against such a hunter. Yet Ankylosaurus may have been one of the few animals that could fight back effectively. At first glance, Ankylosaurus doesn't look fast or dangerous. It had short legs, a wide body, and moved relatively slowly. But appearances can be deceiving. The entire upper surface of its body was protected by osteoderms, large bony structures embedded within the skin. These formed a natural suit of armor that protected vulnerable areas from attacks. Scientists believe this armor was so effective that even powerful bites may have struggled to penetrate it. But the most incredible feature was located at the end of its tail, the famous tail club. Unlike ordinary tails, Ankylosaurus possessed a massive bony hammer composed of fused vertebrae and dense bone. This weapon wasn't just for display. Research suggests the tail club could deliver devastating impacts with tremendous force. Some studies estimate that a full-powered swing could generate enough energy to break bone. Think about that for a moment. A dinosaur that looked like a walking tank was carrying a giant biological mace behind it. If a predator approached from the side or rear, Ankylosaurus could swing its tail with surprising speed. A direct hit to a leg could potentially cripple an attacker, making hunting attempts extremely risky. This changes the traditional view of Ankylosaurus. Rather than being a passive herbivore that relied solely on defense, it may have actively deterred predators through powerful counterattacks. But here's where the story becomes even more fascinating. For many years, scientists assumed Ankylosaurus was simply covered in armor plates. However, newer studies suggest its skin and armor formed a highly sophisticated defensive system. The arrangement of the osteoderms wasn't random. Different sections of the body contained different armor shapes and thicknesses. Some regions were optimized for protection, while others balanced defense with flexibility and movement. Nature had engineered an extraordinary compromise between mobility and security. Even more surprising, some researchers believe the armor may have played additional roles beyond protection. Large armored structures can help regulate heat, provide visual signals, and even influence social behavior among members of the same species. In other words, Ankylosaurus may have used its armor not only as a shield, but also as a communication tool. The more scientists study armored dinosaurs, the more complex they appear. Another shocking fact involves the size of Ankylosaurus itself. Many people imagine it as a medium-sized dinosaur. In reality, it was enormous. Adults could reach lengths of around 8 meters, or more than 26 feet, and weigh several tons. That's roughly the size of a modern city bus wrapped in natural armor. Such massive size alone would have discouraged many predators. Combined with armor and a lethal tail weapon, Ankylosaurus became one of the most formidable herbivores of its time. Yet despite its impressive defenses, Ankylosaurus was still a plant eater. Its diet likely consisted of low-growing vegetation such as ferns, shrubs, and other plants available near ground level. Its broad body and powerful digestive system allowed it to process large amounts of plant material efficiently. Unlike long-necked dinosaurs that fed from tall trees, Ankylosaurus occupied a different ecological niche. This helped reduce competition and allowed multiple herbivore species to coexist in the same environments. Scientists are also uncovering clues about how Ankylosaurus moved. Although it wasn't built for speed, evidence suggests it was far from helpless. Its strong limbs supported tremendous weight while maintaining stability. A low center of gravity made it difficult for predators to overturn. This design resembles defensive strategies seen in some modern animals, where stability is just as important as strength. And then there is the mystery of its behavior. Did Ankylosaurus live alone? Did it travel in groups? The fossil evidence remains incomplete. Some paleontologists suggest solitary lifestyles, while others argue that at least occasional social behavior may have occurred. Unfortunately, direct evidence is rare, leaving many questions unanswered. But perhaps the biggest surprise of all concerns what we actually know about Ankylosaurus. Despite its fame, complete fossils are remarkably uncommon. Most discoveries consist of partial skeletons, scattered bones, and fragments of armor. Because of this, scientists continue refining their understanding as new fossils emerge. Every discovery has the potential to rewrite parts of the story. Features once considered certain can suddenly change when better evidence appears. This is one reason why dinosaurs remain so fascinating. Science is constantly evolving. The Ankylosaurus known today may differ significantly from the one imagined decades ago. New technologies are helping researchers analyze fossils in ways that were impossible in the past. CT scanning, digital reconstruction, and biomechanical modeling allow scientists to test how muscles function, how armor absorbed impacts, and how tail clubs delivered force. These methods are revealing details hidden inside fossils for millions of years. The result is a picture of Ankylosaurus that is far more advanced than the slow-moving, armored dinosaur of old textbooks. Instead, we see an animal shaped by millions of years of evolution into one of nature's greatest defensive masterpieces. A creature capable of surviving in a world dominated by giant predators. A living fortress equipped with armor, strength, and one of the most powerful natural weapons ever evolved by a herbivore. And perhaps that's the real shocking truth about Ankylosaurus. It wasn't merely a dinosaur trying to avoid becoming prey. It was an evolutionary success story. A creature so well protected that even the most terrifying predators had reason to think twice before attacking. In the final days of the age of dinosaurs, when danger lurked around every corner, Ankylosaurus stood as one of nature's ultimate survivors. A walking tank, a biological fortress, and one of the most extraordinary animals ever to walk the earth.